23 years after hijacked planes brought down the Twin Towers in New York City, retired Naugatuck Fire Captain Richard Alfs remembers it like yesterday.
I was home the time I lived in Prospect, and my pager went off, and it said that we had to respond immediately. That something happened in New York City. I turned on the television, and I saw it, and I loaded my equipment up in a car, and I left.
Hours after the attack, he responded to Lower Manhattan's Ground Zero, where the World Trade Center buildings once stood, as part of a task force with the Federal Emergency Management Agency.
Everything was gray. It looked like the movie Batman. It looked like Gotham.
Their mission to search for survivors, with about 3,000 people missing. But his team found no one alive.
The frustration of not finding anybody, alive. Nobody to rescue.
Former Beacon Hose Company Fire Chief Doug Bousquet and Captain Jeremy Rodrigo were also at Ground Zero, but for a different reason.
I said, I have to go. I'm the chief and we're going. And we wanted to help any way we could.
They loaded up an ambulance with the first batch of supplies for search and rescue crews and drove it down to New York City.
Driving through the concrete dust, seeing pictures of families, shoes, pocketbooks, everything was on the ground.
There was ankle deep of dust. It looked like what you imagine the surface of the moon or Mars would look like.
Handing out masks, socks, even snacks to crews on the front line.
They were covered in dirt, but they weren't stopping. They were covered in all of this mess. And before they had masks, they were breathing it all in for, hours and hours and hours. And they were just in a sense of shock. I think a state of shock, but also determination. They were determined to get everyone out of there, whether it be civilians or firefighters or other rescue workers that were trapped in there. They were determined to stay at it until they found who they needed to find.
More than 2 decades later, Alfs is trying to move forward, but his health locks him in the past.
I've got some particulate stuff from concrete in my lungs. It's called silicosis. The beginning stages of that.
Like thousands of other 9/11 first responders, he battles long-term medical issues from the toxic dust he breathed in at the search site. A price he paid for his country, and one he would pay again.
Despite everything, yeah, I'd still do it again. It's what we do. It's what we do.
Talk about heroism right there. According to the CDC, close to 7,000 people have died from World Trade Center-related cancer or illness. That's more than twice the number of people killed on 9/11 the day. And the FDNY alone, the department reports more than 360 members have passed away due to their exposure at Ground Zero. So while 23 years might seem like a long time for some, for many families in our community, they're still just deeply impacted by what happened on 9/11.
Yeah, they are, with all the lingering illness and the number of people who died, but also the emotional scars from that day last for so many families.
As well.
And how much things have changed, right? Like all the procedures that have been put in place since then. It's a different America.